All right, so it is time to fill out our angel and demon personas. So angels are our pro, demons are our anti personas. And I've got this in a PDF that I'm going to go through and fill out. But I'll tell you that when I normally start doing this, I just start in a blank Word document. I am looking for these pieces that we're going to talk about on here, but sometimes I just want to write. And so the way I start this is I come to my market map and I actually want to look at the Facebook pages. And I go and look into the Facebook Audience Insights, which I've pulled over here, and I loaded in Mort Fertel. So we know that Facebook, that our Max Marriage, this was his Facebook page, has 26,000 followers. And so if I go look in the Audience Insights, where'd that go? Right there. So this is really my opportunity in the US. I can just figure out the demographics of people that follow along with him and have an idea of who we might want to be targeting. So from the top, the first thing I noticed is 72% women. So that's definitely something I want to write in here. So it's 72% women. Absolutely interested in that. 28% men. That to me tells me that women may have a bigger interest in marriage. Now, we're going to go through in our ad groups, and I'm going to try both men and women, but that definitely tells me the amount of women that are interested in this. Women may be our target audience, which will be very interesting to see. As we move down into lifestyle, so people are interested in active lifestyles, firmly established, upper middle class couples with school age children. So that's interesting. So active, whoops, gotta get my right sheets right. Active lifestyle, middle class income with school aged children. Those are things that are both interesting and useful. Top professionals. Net worth is also one of the best educated of all the clusters. So high education and income. A little bit conflicting, but that's okay. Basically, we're selling an $80 ebook, so they're going to need some money. That's good to know that this falls in line with our target audience. Country comfort. Rural, white collar, and blue collar families, some self employed with mixed age children. That's very interesting. This is obviously much higher than the average Facebook user, the Facebook audience. So that's good to know. So could be somewhat rural. And that's all it's telling me is don't focus solely on urban areas. Okay. Summit Estates. What's that? Wealthiest of all clusters. Pretty average. Work and play. Affluent single parents, so obviously not the right market because we're trying to save marriages. Tenured proprietors. Large upper middle income families located in the cities and surrounding areas. Accrued a net worth of 500K or less. Married couples with children of all ages. In middle income cluster. Homeowner blue and white collar supporting their family established root community. Okay. So older singles and couples are known for their active grandparent status. That's a good thing that's below average. Let's look at what's below. So solid surroundings. Not necessarily urban diversity. It's predominantly singles in their early 50s. So good thing it's not there. Clubs and causes. Retired singles and couples. Nope. They've made it through the hard part. Good house. 50s and 60s. So basically what it's saying is that our older and obviously single is not the right way to go. Young families, mean age of 25, currently raising children, even split, married couples and singles. So definitely the young families, we want to make a note here. So anti-persona are kind of the young couples with young kids. That's really important to know. Obviously, from a marriage standpoint, hopefully no one's getting married in their first year or two, but that's really important to know that stuff. Getting established. Okay. So interesting stuff there. We'll move out here further. Relationship status. Luckily, 76% are married. That's good. College education. So more educated. So a little bit above average on college and grad school. So higher levels of education. So as a reminder, with AdWars, I'm using Google Display Network, so the levels of education don't really come into play. The household incomes do. But if you're on Facebook, this information is super helpful. Or if you're using programmatic stuff, also amazing. Okay, so our job titles: administrative services, management, sales, production, home care services, health and medical. So let's look and see what's the highest. Not necessarily a crazy amount that's super correlated. So types of jobs are managerial and above, typically higher income. Sales, managers, etc. Now, the one thing to take note of here is when you go in these audience insights, let's say, since we've got 72% women, so they, as we're looking here from the compare side, cleaning and maintenance services, this could apply to, let's say in a particular household, it could... So what's important to note here is with the higher percentage being female, there's a possibility that, let's say, the community and social services, so there's a higher percentage here. Perhaps if it's a married household, the wife is in the community and social services profession, not typically a higher grossing position, but as a household, maybe she and her husband bring in over the $50,000 a year, which we'll look at here in just a second to see the household makeup. But as we saw up here with the, the higher levels of income being some of the things, the tenured proprietors, net worth less than 500,000, but still country comfort. They've made some decent money. That's kind of how you can look at that information. So page likes, you can go through here and find other pages that people are interested in. These for me are really interesting. The Hearts in Harmony, Fierce Marriage, Marriage Today, Marriage Works, those types of things. Having an opportunity to look at those in addition. Location. So this is kind of exciting. Having the ability to come in and look Jacksonville, Florida, San Antonio, Texas, Philadelphia, PA, Dallas, Chicago, Houston, what have you. So not sure if there's something in here that's very valuable, but it's interesting at least. Activity, we can see their Facebook usage, not very useful right now. What I would say, so it looks here like most people, there's more iPhone usage. That is good to know. And desktop and mobile, they use both. So that may help me on GDN with some of my targeting. So I'm going to write down here iPhone tendencies and desktop plus mobile usage, which is pretty normal for this age group. So nothing too exciting there. They're more likely to click on ads, which that's great. Let's look at the household. So the income in dollar percentage, so typically between 75 and 125. That's kind of the range that's above normal, above average. So I'm going to write that down. 75 to 125K income. So good stuff there. Not a lot of people making a ton of money, which is interesting. I don't really have any big thought there, but just interesting stuff. Home ownership, more homeowners than renters. Homeowner and renter. Let's see what else. Household size. So typically 3 to 6 is the area. It looks like people with even more kids are more susceptible. So they definitely have kids. So definitely have kids. Bigger families are more prone to like. And what I'm going to tie onto this, so we haven't seen it yet, but this for me goes with religion. So very religious families typically have more children. So I'm Catholic, the very Catholic, I'm kind of diet Catholic. Very Catholic families have lots of kids. this kind of goes with that. That's marriage is a very sacred institution. More children, you know, your bounty fills the earth, etc. That's very interesting. So having this, we know that people with children are more likely to be involved in keeping the marriage going. Home market value. Interesting to see that their homes are typically between 100 and 500K. So, and then spending methods. Any card, nothing too exciting there. Primarily credit card. So, buy with credit card over cash. Good to know. And then anything from the purchase side. Nothing there. It doesn't look like we have enough people. So anyway, that's some super valuable information that if you didn't have this, like this would take you so long to go gather all of this information. We were able basically just to plug in one Facebook page and get a good details here. So really amazing stuff. Now what I'm going to do is I actually went and I found one of his posts. So we're going to look at one of his posts right here. So 6 unconventional things you should do to save your marriage. And I looked here at the people who liked and commented, and I actually just pulled up their profiles so we can see if this fits. So we're just going to look through these people and make sure they kind of fit into this profile of 72% women and 28% men, what they do, just see if we can figure some stuff out. So this woman, Broward College, lives in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. What does she like? Let's look at her about. Work and education. What does she do? Not a whole lot that we can figure out. Likes. Let's look at Nicole Baker. Jacksonville, Florida. See if we can find anything exciting about Nicole. Nothing too helpful, so we're just going to say okay. Thanks, Nicole. So she fits our persona of women. So active lifestyle, what we could tell about Nicole on her timeline is people here said, well, damn, you look awesome. You look great. I don't even recognize you were gorgeous before, but this is gorgeous. If you look down here further in her timeline, you can see that she had a little bit more weight. And so it kind of goes with the active lifestyle. So Nicole fits in with this. Like I said, we're not really trying to stalk people. We just want to figure out if they are in line with the general consensus that we've gotten to, understanding who it is that we're targeting. So once again, not trying to get creepy, we just want to make sure that we're validating all the things that we've assumed that they're good validations. So Lisa, as you can see here, she's got a picture of some mountains. She lives in Cincinnati. She looks to be between the, above the age of 35. I'm not going to take a guess because that would get you into trouble. But if we look at Lisa, so Lisa, active lifestyle, definitely. What does she have? What more can we tell about her? Definitely active lifestyle. Not sure we're going to get a whole lot more information out of this. Work and education. She went to Rice, so she's well educated, psychology and sociology. So went to Rice. Managerial and above. So she's in the healthcare profession. Deborah is what? Lisa? Yeah, Lisa. So as you can see here, my notes aren't super organized. That's what the next exercise is for, as we go through and put them into our actual persona piece here. Right now, I'm just trying to validate what I'm doing. Just want to make sure I'm on the right piece here. So She went to Trinity College, got what I would imagine is her undergrad, and then went to Rice for her PhD in psychology. I'm not quite sure exactly what that is, but that's kind of how we go through and look at things. She's traveled a lot. Music, she likes a symphony, so that's probably on the higher end of income. Reviews, Puppy Liver Space, Sourdough. So Lisa went to Rice and likes the symphony. You get the idea. So as you can go look here. We could look at we could look at Deborah. We look at Kelly. We could look at Bridget. There's a lot of people here that fall into the demographics of what we're looking at, and this is a great place for us to begin. So what we want to do now is take the information that we've learned, and we want to come over here and fill in our personas. So I've got these in a PDF file. So I want to edit this, and I want to add some text. And so the big thing here, I want this to be like a 6. So age is typically 35 to 54. I'm feeling, based on what we learned. Go 8, bold, bingo. So typically, from a gender perspective, we're going to skew more female than male. And with that, we can take some of the information we got in the last section of our empathy map and apply the fact that if it's only a physical affair, not an emotional one, or if it's an emotional affair, since it's women, that's kind of the things that we learn about these of can we play on some of those emotional strings to get people's attention. So location, US wide, areas, decent income. Are they married? I hope so, because we're trying to help stop their divorce. So yes. Kids and ages. At least one. Ages 6 to 15. I'm just guessing that based on what they said about kind of middle-aged kids, that's kind of what I consider that. We will definitely learn more as we get more customers. Ethnicity. Didn't have a huge guess with this. No real indicator as of yet. Level of education. College and above. So monetary job title. Sales, management, medical, etc. Company size, don't have a great feel for that. Could be self-employed, could be working for a big company. We're just going to leave that one blank for right now. Income, we determined that 75 to 125K combined household. Debt, no real indicator yet, but what I would say is that debt definitely causes more stress on marriages, so there's an opportunity to dig in there and figure out that more about our customer. Transportation, didn't have any real indicator there yet. Oops. Disposable income, once again, not a huge indicator yet. Housing, so it looked like they are much more likely to live in a house. To live in a home than rent. That was from everything. So up here, from the psychographic perspective, is there a lot that we could go after? Well, we know that Mort, what's his name again? Mort Fertel is one of the influencers. Is who we've surveyed this far. As far as the conferences, blogs, books, movies, influencers, we didn't have a whole lot here. What I will tell you is, having done some research on this market otherwise, the big thing that's important to me is talking about the religious and the religious piece. So usually more religious. So the church has an input into their thinking. And once again, that's not a hard and fast rule, but in my experience with this market, the big thing that we come into play is that marriage is a sacred institution. So from the influences, you can go through and figure out if they're attending certain conferences or reading blogs or books or movies. I'll put the Bible up here. How about that? Those are things that you can go through and figure out about your customers. Right now, you really just need to understand from the psychographics, the super high level, this is what is going on in their mind, and here's where they're being influenced. So once you get that, we're going to move down here, and we're going to go to their hell. And once again, we're just pulling this over from our empathy map sheet. But the big thing is that they feel that marriage is a sacred institution, and they don't want to get a divorce because of church, honor, kids, etc. That's pretty much how they feel. And you know, there's going to be outliers in every market, but overall, that's kind of the hell that they're feeling. They have a marriage, they care about it, they want to keep going, and they just don't know how right now. So their heaven, they find a remedy and are able to move their relationship back into the shape they want. That's really what they're looking for. So, all right, we'll go down here for our demons now. From a demon perspective, so ages, it is younger than 34 and older than 55. Typically more male. Is there anything about the location that tells us they're a demon? Not really. So from the married perspective, well, single is out. Married men, perhaps. We're just gonna, from our testing, we're gonna have to figure it out if it's viable enough to have men, or if men are just not invested enough for them to be profitable. We're just gonna have to figure that out. So, no kids. That's a problem. Oops. No indicator as of yet. No college education. And once again, you may come in here and find after you run some campaigns that college education, you know, it may be too loose of a term. Maybe they need to have a bachelor's degree, not an associate's, or make a certain amount of money. That's totally up to, you know, you'll learn that as you go. But this is basically just how we're going to start everything. So, job title. So, you know, something like janitor or secretary. People who make less money are typically not in the, you know, from what we've seen, once again, this is just from Facebook stats, are not as interested in, you know, keeping marriages going. Company size, no indicator yet. From the income perspective, this was big, is less than 75K. Debt, no indicator yet. I would imagine this will definitely be something once we get more clients that will learn that debt's probably an important piece. Transportation, no indicator. Disposable income, no indicator. Housing, so rent slash apartment. From the psychographics piece, this really, we don't know from an influencer. It's not something like there's a people that are against the institution of marriage. You wouldn't get married if you're not interested in marriage. From my perspective, it's people who don't find marriage to be a sacred institution, don't see it as a legal contract or a morally binding promise. That's really what we're going after is, we don't want to target people who don't think that marriage is important. So it's a very simple thing to go through at. So the hell with our demons is the fact that they're married. Is a pestilence. I don't think I spelled that right, but it's upsetting to them and is an inconvenience for their lives. They would rather be out on their own. And their heaven is getting divorced. These are people that we do not want to speak to. So now we've gone through and created an essential customer persona and anti-persona. Once again, it's very high level. It's a beginner persona. You're going to go in and continue to update these. But this will give you an opportunity to, at least start somewhere, figure out your targeting, translate this into a universal ad persona, and then kind of move from there. So if you have any questions about building yours, if this wasn't enough for you, make sure to hit us up in the Pro League Slack channel. We'd love to help you chat through this and figure out the right person for you.